The Galactic Council had classified every sentient species across 50,000 star systems. The classification system was elegant and brutally simple. Measure them against universal standards and assign a rating. The Ethereals scored 9.8 for intelligence. The Valorians scored 9.6 for physical capability. The Quantum Collective scored 10.0 for processing power. Humans scored 5.2 across all measurable metrics. They were average, perfectly mathematically average. Not exceptional in any single category. Not deficient enough to be classified as primitive, just average. This was why Dr. Kessler's report to the Council caused such alarm. Kessler was a Dominion researcher who had spent 40 years studying human civilization. His findings contradicted everything the Council believed about what made a species dangerous. The Council assembled to hear his presentation personally. Humans are the only species in the galaxy with no genetic specialization, Kessler began, displaying data across holographic screens. Every other sapient species evolved to excel in specific domains. The Ethereals became hyper-intelligent. The Valorians became physically superior. The Xelenos became hive-coordinated. Each species developed a singular strength. He paused dramatically. Humans developed none of this. Instead, they became generalists, average at everything, competent at nothing in particular. A council member interrupted. Then why are you presenting this as a threat? Kessler smiled grimly. Because that's exactly what makes them dangerous. He activated a simulation. Imagine a disaster, a plague that kills 90% of the ethereal population. Their civilization collapses because their entire society is built on intellectual superiority. Remove that advantage and they have no backup systems, no redundancy. The simulation shifted. Now imagine the same plague hitting humans. Yes, 90% die, but the survivors, they don't have to completely rebuild their civilization. Humans are generalists. A farmer can learn medicine, a soldier can learn engineering, a child can learn science. There's no specialization that becomes irreplaceable. Another council member leaned forward. You're describing resilience. That's not unique. It is unique, Kessler countersaid, because it combines with something else. Human innovation. He displayed historical data. Humans have invented 47,000 different tools and technologies across their pre-spacefaring period alone. Most species invent specialized tools for specialized tasks. Humans invent multi-purpose solutions. A knife becomes a tool, a weapon, a surgical instrument, a writing implement. Every invention serves multiple purposes. Kessler's next dataset showed human cultural evolution. Species develop culture and then remain static. Humans constantly reinvent their culture. Philosophy changes, art evolves, social structures transform. While other species optimize their single approach, humans try thousands of different approaches simultaneously. The council fell silent, beginning to understand. And then there's this, Kessler said, displaying humanity's competitive history. Humans are the only species that fights against themselves constantly. Not for resources, for ideology, for sport, for honor. This means that humans, uniquely among galactic species, have spent millennia developing new strategies, new tactics, new ways to overcome opponents. He leaned back. Every other species fights other species occasionally. Humans fought each other for 200,000 years before achieving spaceflight. This made them adaptive in ways no genetically optimized species can match. A council member asked the critical question. You're saying that because humans are average, they can't be defeated? Not exactly, Kessler replied. I'm saying that human averageness is their greatest strength. Let me demonstrate. He activated a scenario. A quantum collective AI faces a human problem solver on a computing challenge. The AI wins 99.9% of the time. But here's the critical point. When the AI loses, it doesn't know why. It has no framework for understanding failure in that domain. A human, conversely, loses constantly and learns from every loss. Kessler displayed another scenario. A Valorian warrior faces a human fighter. The warrior wins 99% of the time due to superior strength and speed. But the 1% of the time humans win, they do so through unpredictable combinations of tactics. Humans fight differently every time because they innovate through experience. He showed a final scenario. A Zelenos hive attempts to assimilate human technology. The hive is perfectly coordinated. But humans? Humans create redundant systems, backup protocols, fail-safes built into every structure because humans expect things to break. The hive's perfect system collapses when one component fails. The human system absorbs the failure and continues functioning. The council president demanded, "What are you recommending?" Kessler's answer was chilling. Never go to war with humanity, not because they'll beat you militarily, but because they'll keep fighting long after your species has forgotten why you started. They'll adapt faster than you can optimize. They'll find victory in defeat. They'll turn every loss into a lesson and every lesson into an adaptation. He paused. And worst of all, they'll do it while being completely average. They have no genetic advantage to remove, no singular strength to exploit. They're just human, average across all metrics, which means they can survive the destruction of any single capability and rebuild through generalist adaptation. A council member whispered, "So humanity's strength is that they have no strength?" "Exactly," Kessler said. "Every other species excels in one domain and fails in others. Humans are competent in all domains and exceptional in adaptation. That makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they're superior, but because they're the hardest to break." The Council voted unanimously that day. Humanity would be classified as a protected species, not because they were superior, but because their average nature made them nearly impossible to defeat. The greatest threat in the galaxy wasn't genius or strength, it was versatility. It was the ability to be good enough at everything to never be completely vulnerable. It was, simply, humanity.